But we want to get right to that breaking news from England. You've heard about it by now, where the King's brother, Andrew, once second in line to the British throne, was arrested by police at his home this morning. Andrew has been detained on suspicion of misconduct amid the growing uproar following the release of those Jeffrey Epstein files. Ramy Inocencio is outside Buckingham Palace with the latest. Ramy, good morning. This is a stunning turn of events. What can you tell us?
Gayle, yes, absolutely stunning. Massive news here. The arrest of a British royal at about 8 a.m. this morning. British police arrived at the home of Andrew. We understand that that involved 6 unmarked cars and 8 plainclothes officers. And this is linked to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Not for that, but on suspicion of misconduct while in public office, and that carries a maximum penalty of life in prison.
Photographed on all fours over a female in the Justice Department's most recent release of Jeffrey Epstein's emails,
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested at Sandringham, the private estate of his brother King Charles, about 3 hours north of London. On suspicion, Andrew, as trade envoy in the 2000s, shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein about investment opportunities around the world, including Afghanistan and Hong Kong. In a statement, police confirmed, "We have today arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk and carrying out searches at 2 addresses. He remains in police custody and will not be named." Andrew has vehemently denied any wrongdoing whatsoever since he befriended Epstein in 1999.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady,
including knowing Virginia Jeffrey, who accused Epstein of sex trafficking her as a teenager. She took her life last year.
Today, her family released a statement saying that Mountbatten Windsor was never a prince. He was stripped of all royal titles last year and has been under mounting pressure to testify in front of the U.S. Congress.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
King Charles and Queen Camilla earlier this month said they stand ready to support the police in their investigation. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer applied political pressure.
Everybody is equal under the law, and nobody is above the law, and it applies, and it has to apply in this case in the same way as it would apply in any other case.
So much pressure now building on Andrew, the former prince. Also of note, it's his 66th birthday. Gayle.
Thank you very much, Ramy Inocencio, reporting from London. We want to read now the entire statement from Virginia Giuffre's family. It reads this: "At last today, our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty. On behalf of our sister, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, we extend our gratitude to the UK Thames Valley Police for their investigation and the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He was never a prince for survivors everywhere. Virginia did this for you." Let's bring in our CBS News royal contributor. That's Roya Nikkhah. She is a royal editor for Britain's Sunday Times, and I know that she's getting in position even as we speak. But Roya, we're very excited to have you this morning because we all woke up to this news, and I have to say, we're all still processing it here in the States. I can't imagine what's happening in the UK. Do you know yet if the King is going to respond directly to the arrest of his brother?
Well, good morning, Gayle. This is all happening very fast, but we have just literally this minute had a statement from the King about the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and I can read that statement to you now. He says, "I've learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I've said before, they have our full, wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all." And that statement from the King is signed Charles R. So that is the response. Extraordinarily, we are due to see the King open London Fashion Week imminently, as his brother has been arrested this morning. So that's just in, Gayle.
Yeah, I'm wondering, it was stunning. For us here in the United States, did you all have any heads up? Was there any talk that this was possibly in the works? Were you all as surprised as we were here in the U.S.?
There There has been momentum building over the last few days, Gayle. We saw yesterday, I think, an accumulation of around 7 or 8 police forces getting involved. We also had the involvement announced yesterday of the NCA, which is our national crime agency, sometimes described as the British FBI. So there has been a feeling that police forces could no longer not look at this very seriously, and I think it has been moving in one direction. That said, to see those police cars arriving, about 8 of them this morning, at the Sandringham estate, at Wood Farm, where Andrew is temporarily staying, is quite a moment. This is the King's brother who has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office, the first senior royal to ever be arrested.
Roya, it's Vlad. Have we heard anything at all from the Prince's former wife, Sarah Ferguson, and his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and how they are perhaps reacting to this news?
But at the moment, this is all very new. We have not yet heard from the former Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, or from Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. It has been quite interesting in the last few weeks. Sarah Ferguson, we know, has been abroad a little bit. She has kept a very low profile, as have the princesses. Obviously, very difficult time for them. It's been made very clear from the palace and from the King that regardless of what Andrew Mountbatten Windsor may or may not have done, and we must stress he has always denied any wrongdoing in this issue, that the King has always been very clear to keep the girls close, but this is going to be a very difficult time for them. Things have seriously escalated now.
Roya, the phrase misconduct in office, what exactly does that mean? I'm not familiar with that. And what happens now?
Well, misconduct in a public office, there's various forms of it. What the police are looking at specifically here is the emergence of what the emails in the Epstein files appear to show, which is that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, during his decade as the UK's trade envoy from 2001 to 2011, appeared to send sensitive, highly classified documents and information, government information, briefing information on things like reconstruction in Afghanistan, on things like investment opportunities around the world, from his trips around the world, from China contacts, to Jeffrey Epstein, and there is a suggestion, not proven, there's a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein may have used some of that information to his financial advantage. We must stress again that Andrew has not been charged. He has merely been arrested on suspicion of this and denies any wrongdoing. But if someone is charged and if they are found guilty of that offence, it does carry a maximum life sentence.
Wow. All right. Roya Nikkhah, we appreciate you getting on the air for us this morning with the breaking news. Thank you very much.